We are on number 68. Solve the following system of equations. 2x squared plus 5y squared equals 82. I'm trying to write it on my paper and my cat doesn't want me to. 2x squared plus 5y squared equals 82, and 5x squared minus 3y squared equals negative 43. All right, so here we have this system of second degree equations. All right, so they're not linear. So we want to either use a substitution method or a graphing method or elimination. And since solving for x or y is not trivial here, and the x squareds and y squareds are nicely lined up, looks like elimination is the way to go. So remember, to eliminate a variable, you want the coefficients to be opposites of each other. So if we wanted to eliminate x squared, we look at what do 2 and 5 go into, kind of like a least common denominator. 2 and 5 both go into 10. So you could multiply this first equation by negative 5, and the second equation by positive 2. And then those coefficients would be positive and negative 10, so that when you add them, they would cancel out. So let's see what we get. If we multiply that first equation through by negative 5, we get negative 10x squared minus 25y squared equals negative 410. There's a trick for multiplying by 5, by the way. You take half of the number and add a 0, if it's even anyway. Then here, times 2, 10x squared minus 6y squared equals negative 86. All right, so that first equation multiplied through by negative 5, technically you're multiplying both sides by a negative 5, and here you're multiplying both sides by 2, and of course distributing it. So then you can add equals to equals and get equals. The x's cancel out, and you get a negative 31y squared equals negative 496. So then you want to divide both sides by negative 31. 496 divided by 31 is 16. How nice is that? All right, and negative over negative is positive. So y is plus or minus the square root of 16, which is 4. So then you want to go back to either equation. I'll just use this second one here and write it down with 4 or negative 4 plugged in for y. Here you might notice that both of them squared are going to give you 16, so you can actually do them both at the same time. 3 times 16 is what you get for either 4 or negative 4, and that's negative 48. So then add 48 to both sides to solve for x squared. We get 5x squared equals 5, so x squared is 1, and x is plus or minus 1. So y being positive or negative 4 corresponds to x being positive or negative 1. Technically what we have here are all 4 combinations. If x is 1, y is either 4 or negative 4. And if x is negative 1, y is either 4 or negative 4. And vice versa. So you've got 4 solutions. Now this one could be done graphically, but like I said, it's not trivial to solve that first equation for y. You would first subtract the 2x squared from 82. So you'd get 5y squared equals 82 minus 2x squared. And then you'd have to divide by 5. And then y is plus or minus the square root of that whole thing. So that's what you'd have to type into your calculator, and you'd have to make sure that you put parentheses over that and had this whole thing in the radical. Similarly, the second equation solved for y, you would get negative 3y squared equals negative 43 minus 5x squared. And then divide both sides by negative 3. And then y would be plus or minus the square root of that whole thing. Negative 43 minus 5x squared